Devaluation. The narcissist looks at your replacement. This video provides you with the analysis of an interaction between a somatic, lower, mid-range narcissist and three standard empaths, one from the magnet cadre, the other two from the carrier cadre. The emphasis is not about the schools and cadres of the participants, although the flavour will be evident, so this will provide you with more understanding in that regard. But it's rather on demonstrating the nature of the interaction between the narcissist and these prospective replacements of the intimate partner primary source. It will provide you, through a worked example, insight into the way that the narcissist regards all three individuals in the dynamic. It will provide you with insight to understand how the narcissist is sizing up, unconsciously, remember, because he's an unaware lower mid-range narcissist, the replacements for the intimate partner primary source who is now in devaluation. The Dramatis Persona is as follows. The narcissist is a lower mid-range narcissist and somatic. The narcissist has a cohabiting partner. She is a carrier, standard empath. And this person is the intimate partner primary source. She is in devaluation. They have been in a formal relationship of partners for 2 years. The sustained devaluation period commenced 1 year ago. So, the intimate partner primary source is very much in devaluation and is at risk of disengagement. Who is the narcissist sizing up as potential replacements? First of all, we have the candidate intimate partner primary secondary source, CANIPS. This is a standard magnet empath who lives in the same city as the narcissist. She is single. They met on a dating site. They have met in person and have known one another just 3 weeks. However, this individual, being the CANIPS, is clearly attracting considerable attention of the narcissist. The formal relation between them is narcissist and CANIPS, early dating. There is also a shelf intimate partner secondary source, SIPSS, who is a standard carrier empath. She also lives in the same city as the narcissist and the CANIPS. She is also single and met the narcissist on the same dating site. They have met several times and have known each other for roughly over 2 months. The formal relationship is narcissist and SIPS and in established dating. The SIPS is viewed as white and is currently placed on the shelf. Accordingly, those are the relevant individuals who are within this worked example, their status, the nature of their interaction with the narcissist, and the current stage of the dynamic with the narcissist. Now I am going to provide you with a run-through of the behaviour from the narcissist towards these appliances so you understand the nature of the interaction and the mindset of the narcissist as he looks at replacing the intimate partner primary source. The narcissist awakes and immediately thinks about the CANIPS. The CANIPS enters the sixth sphere of influence as a consequence of a random thought. This is a Hoover Trigger. The narcissism has to determine whether she is under control. She is not fully yet under control as status of CANIPS, and therefore, because of this Hoover Trigger, and that she is not fully yet under control, the narcissist feels instinctively that she must be brought under control. She is viewed as white. He has her telephone number. They are friends on social media sites. The Hoover execution criteria are easily met, and therefore the narcissist then issues a Hoover to assert control and draw fuel from the CANIPS by sending her a text message. You should note, hoovering does occur during seduction. He writes, "Hi, dreamt about you last night. Better not say, though. You might get too carried away before work." This is a benign manipulation, a benign Hoover. It is flattery. And there is also promised gain, because he doesn't mention precisely what is said. And it is done instinctively, remember, because he's lower mid-range, to draw her into responding further. The Canips answers within seconds by text. Wow, I like that. Go on, you can tell me. She signals a response that indicates that in this instance she is under control, and is coming under more control within the overall dynamic, as she continues her march to replacing the intimate partner primary source. Her response is positive fuel, its potency is high because she holds the status of Canips, the quantity is low because it's a written message, and it's a one-off frequency. Pleased by the effect of the fuel, although he doesn't know that's what it is, and also the rapid response, signalling to the narcissist that the Canips is coming under his control generally and is providing control in that moment, he then replies, let's just say we both enjoyed it. Would be even better in person. Benign Hoover, promise gain, flattery. The Canips again responds in seconds by text. You think so? You sound pretty confident. I am no pushover, you know. LOL. This is positive challenge fuel. The potency, etc. is as before, but saying that she's no pushover challenges the narcissist's control slightly. The narcissist, whilst challenged by this text, and this challenge is instinctively recognised, the narcissism sees it as an opportunity to enable the narcissist to assert his perceived superiority, but to do so in a benign way so as not to derail the seduction of this Canips. Therefore the narcissist hoovers with, of course I know what I'm doing. You'll have to let me find out. The Canips again responds in seconds. I might just do that. Did you have anything in mind? Positive fuel, potency, etc. as described earlier. The narcissist is buoyed again by the provision of fuel, but the narcissism instinctively identifies that the Canips is clearly interested, and therefore control is slowly increasing. The narcissist, acting on the instinctive response controlled by his narcissism, responds quickly by text. How about I take you out for dinner tonight? Another benign Hoover, a benign manipulation, promise gain, flattery. A text then arrives from the shelf intimate partner primary source to the narcissist. Hi, how are you? I was just thinking about last week and how much we enjoyed that new Thai place. How about we go again? I'm free tonight or tomorrow. She is providing positive fuel. The potency is high because she is a shelf intimate partner secondary source. The quantity is low because it's the written word, and the frequency is one-off. She is signalling that she is under control with this message. The narcissist does not respond, however. Even though the shelf intimate partner secondary source is viewed as white, she is on the shelf, signaling she is under control, and he's focused on something else at the current time. Because he has no emotional empathy for this shelf intimate partner secondary source, no sense of accountability towards the relationship with her, and a sense of entitlement, he deems, governed by his unconscious narcissism, that it is not necessary to respond. Indeed, he remains focused on the Canips as he impatiently waits her response to his suggestion of dinner. The Canips then texts back, I can't do tonight, I have something on. This rejection wounds the narcissist because the response doesn't provide any fuel, and therefore it is not challenge fuel, but instead is wounding. The wounding, however, is only mild in nature because it is just by text. Although he doesn't realise why he feels this way, because it threatens his control, he's just cheesed off because somebody said no to him. The narcissist is slightly irritated by this, but remember, because he's in the seduction period with the Canips, and therefore is viewed white, the narcissism deems that his ignited fury ought to be controlled and doesn't manifest. Therefore, at this stage, he doesn't lash out. Being a lower mid-ranger, he has some control over that ignited fury through his narcissism, and therefore it doesn't come to the fore. Instead, he responds to assert control to this wounding, because remember the wounding is a threat to his control, by texting the Canips with an alternative suggestion. How about tomorrow night? Just then, the intimate partner primary source, the cohab partner, appears at the bedroom door. She is in devaluation, and therefore is viewed as black. On the phone again, are we? She asks. You're never off it. I swear it's welded to your hand, she says with a frown and a shake of her head. Negative challenge fuel. Very high potency, she is the intimate partner primary source. Significant quantity of fuel, because it's said in the presence of the narcissist. Spoken word, tone, body language, facial expression, frequency, one off. This is negative challenge fuel. She demonstrates irritation and annoyance. It is a challenge because she is attacking the narcissist's right to use the phone when he chooses. Also, because it suggests that he is not doing something right because he's on the phone. The narcissist, of course, isn't concerned that he's texting another woman and his partner has caught him on the phone, albeit she doesn't know that that's who he's interacting with, but rather it is a challenge as described to his right to do what he wants, and therefore this challenge to his control has to be addressed. He responds verbally, yes, I am, because someone has to work hard and bring the money in around here to pay for you and your wretched wardrobe, haven't they? He responds with an insult, a provocative comment, which is instinctively designed to draw further negative fuel, but moreover, to stamp on the challenge issued by the IPPS. He asserts control by the first assertion of control. The IPPS puts her hands on her hips. This gesture is negative fuel, very high potency, moderate quantity, presence, facial expression, body language, frequency, one off. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, goes the narcissist with another provocative remark. Her response was challenging, therefore he has to provoke her again. As he says this, he texts the canips again. I know this really good Thai restaurant which you will love, my treat naturally. Of course, this is the same Thai restaurant that the narcissist went to with a shelf intimate partner. Secondary source, evidencing his lack of distinction between the people he is engaging with, as they are just appliances to him. Rather than wait for her response, the response of the canips, barely a minute after suggesting the restaurant, his lack of boundary recognition, his sense of entitlement, causes him to send this text. He needs to assert control over her because she hasn't responded, and also because his intimate partner primary source is threatening his control by her behaviour. Further, the black view he has of the intimate partner primary source remains a stark contrast to the white view taken of the canips. In his mind, the IPPS is a traitor. The canips is the increasingly loyal saviour. Oh, and you never buy any clothes, do you? Retorts the intimate partner primary source in annoyance. Negative challenge fuel, very high potency, significant quantity of fuel, presence, spoken word, tone, facial expression, body language, frequency, one off. This is a challenge because the IPPS is suggesting that he is a hypocrite. Therefore, she is threatening his control. The narcissist responds, governed by his narcissism. The direct assertion of control. I can buy what I like, you money-grabbing, ungrateful bitch. I earn it. The narcissist increases the provocation, governed by his narcissism, with a gratuitous insult, which is designed to garner more fuel, but mainly to establish control over her again. Oh, and I suppose I do nothing other than run the house and do a job, do I? Anyway, I haven't got time for this. I'll see you at 1 p.m. for lunch, right? She says. This is negative fuel from the IPPS because she is suggesting the narcissist is ungrateful and does not do as much as she does. Therefore, she is superior. And furthermore, she is trying to close down the discussion by having the last word, which also challenges the narcissist's notion of superiority. As she says this, a text arrives from the canips. Yes, tomorrow would be great. I will be free at 8 p.m. Let me know the name of the restaurant. I cannot wait, and if you are good, you can come back for coffee afterwards. This is positive fuel, high potency, low quantity, and one-off frequency. The narcissist has control over the canips in the moment, and his overall control of her within the dynamic is increasing. He responds by text. Excellent. Cannot wait. Wear something hot. That blue dress really suits you. He texts back. Flattery. Benign Hoover. His prescriptive nature about telling the canips what to wear evidences his sense of entitlement and increasing ownership of the appliance that she is to him. He also, owing to this sense of entitlement and lack of accountability, sees nothing wrong with doing this and making the IPPS wait for him to respond. She stands waiting, glaring, providing further negative fuel. Her challenge to him has still not been dealt with. The narcissist is edified by the positive fuel from the SIPSS, more positive fuel from the CANIPS, but especially from the negative fuel from the IPPS. His day has started very well indeed, and it's only 7:30 a.m. The narcissist now needs to assert control over the intimate partner primary source. So he speaks to her. "Oh, I cannot make it. I have to go through the pitch with Ian," answers the narcissist. This is a lie, but in the moment his narcissism causes him to believe that it's true to enable him to assert control with conviction. "You haven't mentioned that before," she responds. "Well, tell him you can't do it," responds the IPPS in irritation. Negative challenge fuel, i.e. telling the narcissist what to do, which threatens his control. Very high potency, significant quantity of fuel, one-off frequency. The interaction with the CANIPS has ended. She is under control, therefore that interaction is parked for the time being. The shelf intimate partner secondary source is still waiting, but the narcissist has placed her on the shelf. The narcissist has to deal with the challenge to his control that is coming from his intimate partner primary source. The narcissist is under attack again, and his verbal responses have failed to assert control as is required over the intimate partner primary source. He has no fuel problem, however. Since he's been accused of not telling the IPPS something, he then responds verbally. "Yes, I did. I told you yesterday, but you don't listen. You never do, too caught up in yourself." He issues a denial against her accusation of not having told her about the engagement with Ian, which is part of the narcissist's first line of defence. He is also seeking to stamp out her challenge by a direct assertion of control by shifting the lack of the discussion and instinctive response through the manipulation of projection by accusing her of the very thing that he does. "No, you didn't. You didn't say anything," she says in annoyance. She is continuing to challenge him and provides challenge fuel of a negative variety. Potency, etc. remains the same as previously. The verbal put-downs aren't working as he seeks to assert control through the first assertion of control, and therefore the narcissist shifts manipulation instinctively, guided by his narcissism, and this time ignores her, moving to the third assertion of control. He gives her a present silent treatment. Her status as viewed black causes him to think of asserting his control further, even though she's IPPS, and will not know what he is doing. In his mind, because of the way the narcissism looks at this through the narcissistic perspective, he is asserting control. Now the narcissist turns to the shelf intimate partner secondary source. The continued aggravation of the intimate partner primary source has brought her back into his mind, and this time the Hoover execution criteria have been met, so he replies to her. "Hi, good to hear from you. I was just about to text you when you texted me." This is a lie, but the narcissism causes him to do this to make her believe that she is in his thoughts, so that she continues to be held under control. He responds with, "How about lunch today? At 1 p.m, my treat. The Thai restaurant is open at lunch as well." Note the second offer to buy a meal for someone outside of his relationship, a somatic gesture of generosity. The IPPS is still waiting for an answer. She is still providing negative fuel from her stance, her frown and glaring eyes. The narcissist continues to assert control over her by ignoring her through the present silent treatment. The SIPSS replies by text almost immediately. "Yeah, great. I did have something on at 12:30, but I can move it for you." Note, carrier empath, poor boundary assertion. She sucks up the change willingly. "I'll meet you at 1 p.m. Cannot wait." The SIPSS is on the shelf still, short exchange, but will be taken off the shelf for the lunch appointment, assuming the narcissist attends. He may not, if circumstance dictates this benefits him not to do so. She remains viewed white. The interaction with the shelf intimate partner secondary source now ends because he has asserted control over her and has arranged the lunch date. "Oh, forget it," hisses the waiting IPPS. She remains ignored as the narcissist continues his present silent treatment of her, asserting control over her. As he starts flicking through a set of pictures he has exchanged with the shelf intimate partner primary source, secondary source, which gives him a small amount of thought fuel alongside the negative fuel that the IPPS continues to pump out as she is ignored and annoyed. The IPPS storms off. Her withdrawal means that the narcissist's present silent treatment has continued and now has secured control over her. She slams the front door, leaving the property. This last act provides another dose of negative fuel because it is an annoyed gesture. The well-fueled narcissist smiles, his smile being generated by the fuel that he has received, although he doesn't know this, and finally rises from his bed. He has received plenty fuel, and it's only 7:37 a.m., and his day has begun rather well for him. The IPPS remains in devaluation, is painted black, but control was asserted over her through the present silent treatment, and her withdrawal signals to the narcissist that he has control over her. The candidate intimate partner, secondary source, Canips, is the prime candidate to replace the IPPS. She is being still seduced, she's painted white, and the narcissist will now repeatedly hoover her during the day in a benign way ahead of their date tomorrow night. He will continue to hoover her because she will keep popping up in his mind. She will text him back, thus causing Hoover triggers. She is painted white. The Hoover execution criteria are easily met, meaning that he can keep texting her. He draws a small amount of fuel from her on these one-off interactions, but he's continuing to assert control in the moment and building his overall control over her as part of the dynamic. The shelf intimate partner secondary source is on the shelf until lunchtime. She's painted white, and she still ranks behind the candidate IPSS as a potential replacement, and there is no prospect of any immediate shift in that status. So there you have a short but insightful breakdown of the interaction and the narcissist between the IPPS in devaluation and two secondary sources that he is juggling, both of an intimate nature, who may well replace this intimate partner primary source. You can see the nature of the interactions, what they amount to through the lens of control that the narcissist has, the fuel that's provided, and the amounts. I recommend you listen to this a number of times, and it is a very instructive scenario which helps you understand the way that an ordinary interaction between three people is actually broken down through the benefit of my analysis. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.